Now, a familiar face is returning to politics. Former Liberal Party and United Australia Party member Craig Kelly has been tapped on the shoulder by Pauline Hanson to lead One Nation's federal re-election effort. I caught up with him to discuss his new role.
Yeah, Chris, I'm very excited that I've taken on a role with Pauline Hanson's One Nation. I'll be their national campaign director leading up into the next federal election. My job will be to make sure that we've got good, solid local candidates in every one of the 150 or 151 seats, depending upon the new redistribution, and making sure that we are competitive and to put a real alternate to the Australian people.
Gee, it's hard to keep up with your political career, Craig. You know, you're a Liberal federal MP and then United Australia Party with Clive Palmer, now One Nation. Are you confused inside or do you love them all?
Look, Chris, I always felt that the Liberal Party left me rather than me leaving the Liberal Party. I still have the same values and beliefs that I signed up for when I joined the Liberal Party. We marched in the streets against the carbon tax. That was the Liberal Party that I joined and won in a massive landslide in 2013 under Tony Abbott. Unfortunately, that's not the Liberal Party of today. They've abandoned the idea of opposing carbon taxes. They've actually signed up to net zero exactly the same as the Labor Party has. Now, Pauline Hanson's One Nation, we oppose net zero. We think it's a nonsense. We think it hands a competitive advantage to China and does enormous damage to the wealth and prosperity of this nation.
Your One Nation is very much Pauline Hanson's party, of course, and you've got a challenge in your home state of New South Wales where 2 of the 3 state MPs have left One Nation, one of them, of course, being the leader, Mark Latham, and there are suggestions that the remaining Upper House MP, Tanya Mihalik, will leave the party with you as federal director. Have you had a word to her? Is she going to stick around or not?
Yeah, look, Tanya's going to stick around. I've known Tanya. She was actually the Labor member for Bankstown. Our seats overlapped when she was a state member of Parliament and I was a federal member of Parliament. So we've known each other for a long time. Don't also forget Malcolm Roberts there in the Senate. Senator Malcolm Roberts is a man of impeccable integrity, doing a great job in the Senate, holding all those bureaucrats to account at Senate estimates. We've also got down there in South Australia, members down in South Australia, Western Australia and Melbourne. So the party is growing. And I said, Chris, I'm really looking forward to this opportunity because the country really is at the crossroads. We've seen a situation where living standards, real disposable income in this country has been the lowest in the OECD. Albanese is taking the country backwards. And unfortunately, the Liberals are not offering the real opposition that they should be doing. So that's the role we're going to be fulfilling at One Nation.
So just clarify this for me. You've spoken with Tanya Mihalik, the Upper House One Nation MP in New South Wales, and she's committed to staying with the party?
I haven't spoken to Tanya personally the last couple of days, but I know Tanya well. I've spoken to her many times over many years, and I'm sure whatever the issue is. My interest, Chris, is in federal politics. Tanya's the state member of Parliament here. I'm convinced that she will stay on and continue to represent One Nation in that state Parliament.
Now, what about yourself? Obviously, you're a former federal Liberal MP yourself. Are you going to put yourself up as a candidate, perhaps as a New South Wales senator?
Look, that's all to be decided. One thing I'm actually considering is running against Chris Bowen in his seat at McMahon. He's a member of Parliament. He's got the monkey ear of Blackout Bowen. He's driving these net zero policies. He's abandoned the constituents of his electorate. Like what he's doing on cars, putting up the price of 4-wheel drives and utes, which everyone in his own electorate drive while making Teslas cheaper, which is okay, might be great if you're the member for Balmain. So that's also something I'm considering as well.
Tell me more about this. This is tantalising. You might run as a lower house candidate for One Nation against Chris Bowen.
Well, I believe that as One Nation, we have a real chance in a lot of seats in Western Sydney. If you look at it's almost a reverse Teals, where you saw a lot of those northern suburb seats, those traditional, very strong Liberal seats, fall to the Teals. I believe the reverse is possible in southwest Sydney, especially where you've got the Labor Party abandoning what is their traditional constituency. You look at how they've been pushing up rents with record migration, housing prices. A lot of the policies of the Labor Party today no longer represent the working class of Western Sydney.
Well, tell us you'll do it. Tell us you will run against Chris Bowen.
Well, sir, I know it'd be exciting, but there's a bit of water to flow under the bridge. I said I've got to organise 150 seats, and Chris Bowen's seat will be one of them that we'll be looking for a very good candidate, which may even be myself.
Well, it's a tantalising prospect. I tell you what, you'd get some barracking from us if you were to take on Chris Bowen. Thanks for joining us, Craig. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks again.